salutations, Internet, and welcome back to the Paper Cuts Podcast, the only podcast where the ghost of Jack Kirby violently ejaculates ectoplasm silently.
It's very specific, Daniel. Very specific.
It is. And he
I also feel like that might spell something out.
Revenge.
Just think about that the entire time while you're listening. Jack Kirby's at our place, and he's doing crazy shit
Dude,
with...
Jack Kirby might be God. I don't want to piss him off.
Wait, he's a merciful god. Merciful god that does not like Stan Lee. And with me today, I have the magnificent Matt.
Oh, we're not actually going Chang. Okay, hi.
Alright, and the boisterous Brando.
Yo, what's up?
The magnanimous Mark.
I am not magnanimous.
Everyone's so monotone.
Yeah.
Monotone, Mark.
The jacketated Jim.
Hello, hello.
And with us, our special guest, the eccentric Eric.
Howdy going, everyone?
Not to be confused with the other Eric.
Yes, this is a more different Eric than the other.
It's the all new, all different Eric.
I think you're ultimate Eric.
Well, wait, there's more.
Yeah, we got
We're gonna get complaints in the comments that you aren't white anymore.
They don't know that. They don't know that. I have a voice of a perfect white man.
Perfect, yeah.
He says wearing his White Legends shirt.
Solid.
Today on Paper Cuts Podcast, we're going to have a character spotlight on our favorite knucklehead, Wolverine.
Oh my god, you ran with that.
Fuck yes, I ran with that.
Good job, bub.
Yeah, thanks, bub. Alright, so I want to go and ask the crowd out there, how were you guys first introduced to Wolverine? Brando.
Let's all talk about the X-Men cartoon.
I was gonna say, it's gonna be a long train of that. Okay, I'll forego that answer. Short answer, Dan, is the 90s cartoon of X-Men, like everybody else probably in this room.
Yeah.
I'll say that the next time I would see him outside of that television show and toys would be in Spider-Man comics, in Spider-Man vs. Wolverine, just because I found it, and it's one of the sweet old issues of Spider-Man that I read. So that was the first time I saw him, and I thought he was yellow, supposed to be yellow. He was orange, so I was confused, but it was interesting to see the two of them paired up in a comic. I didn't feel like that he kind of fit in Spidey's lingo land, but I liked it. That was the first time I saw him besides the 90s cartoon animated series that everyone's seen. So there you go.
Alright, very cool. Eric, what was the first time you saw Wolverine?
Yeah. Okay. So everyone's saying, the cartoon.
Let's get past that.
Yeah, but mine wasn't the cartoon. Mine was the video game.
There you go.
Mine was the X-Men video game. The PlayStation 1, the blue.
X-Men Academy? Or?
Yeah, X-Men Academy.
Yeah.
That's how I know X-Men.
Yeah.
So I was like, cause me and my brother Ricky, we play that, and I was like, yo, who are these cool characters? You got guys with claws, you got a dude shooting laser out of his eye, you got a blue chick,
Just
the blue chick. So I was like, yo, Wolverine, he's pretty dope. He's got claws. He's, it's crazy. But I actually never watched the cartoon. Yeah, the cartoon was introduced to me first. It was actually the game, and then I started to watch the '90s cartoon X-Men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was a little bit different of how I was introduced to Wolverine.
I dig it. That was a pretty dope fighting game too.
It was it was stupid, but it was fun.
Very nice. Jim, how were you introduced to Wolverine?
Alright, I definitely knew about him before the cartoon. It's weird. I have this weird memory of a Wolverine graphic novel that somebody had given to me when I was far too young for such things. I've never been able to figure out what comic it was or who wrote it or anything, but I have very vivid memories of some weird oil painting looking thing where Wolverine is standing on top of a building and there's clouds behind him and he's looking over this ruined, fucked up looking 80s gritty city.
Like Batman.
What's that?
Like Batman.
Yeah. Because we'll get to Wolverine and Batman being different, the same thing later on.
Claw.
Yeah.
Nightclaw.
Dark Claw.
But I remember
Claw's
my earliest Wolverine memories asking my dad where this city was, and he told me that Wolverine was from Canada, and they have excellent healthcare there. And that's really probably one of my first memories, and also definitely one of my first memories of a superhero, is thinking that Canada was some sort of post-apocalyptic wasteland where you have good healthcare. and that it must be cool because that's where Wolverine is from. And then later on, I had the series and everything. But I was in a little micro slice of the millennial generation where they shoved superheroes down our throats in like every medium. So I can't even say that the cartoon was my first exposure to them. I'm sure I had a trading card or Marvel Masterpieces or a sticker or something like that where I was just like, Wolverine, okay, cool, got it. You know, this guy's claws and he's bad in his attitude. He's like a grown-up Bart Simpson. That's me.
Alright.
Wolverine, his superpower is being Canadian. He is great healthcare.
Yes. Master Chang, how were you first introduced to Wolverine?
The cartoon series, foregoing that.
I was gonna have that in the background the entire time. No.
No one can do sound effects like you can.
No, 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 no.
I think he's got you beat.
Yeah.
Nah, man, me and Eric are a team.
But after that, well, seeing how I'm not even... I just got into comics recently. I actually never really got into anything with Wolverine in the comic books other than him showing up in Miss Marvel actually for a little bit. It was kind of strange. But really the first kind of elongated, long exposure to him was watching the X-Men movies with Hugh Jackman. Pretty much typecasted him as being Wolverine from now on, even if I see him in any other movie.
I don't know, man. Have you ever seen Kate and Leopold?
Have you seen that movie called Australia?
No.
Oh, don't see that
And
movie.
no.
How about we all list Hugh Jackman movies that don't feature him as Wolverine?
See what? Real Steel?
That's a good movie. That's a good movie. I don't care
Still
what
looks like
anyone
Wolverine.
Is Real
But-
Steel the one that's about like...
says. It's in. It's like.
Robots.
It's yeah. It's like.
Robot
Robot boxers.
robots.
Yeah.
Rock'em
like,
Sock'em
yeah.
Robots.
Yeah, it's Rocky Sock'em Robots.
Are you gonna tell me? Now I know nothing about it aside from the fact that it's basically Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Are you gonna tell me that's a good movie?
I'll tell you that's a good movie.
I trust you.
I'll tell you
I
that.
feel
That's,
like this is you're gonna disappoint me.
No, you won't be disappointed.
You have to take my movie taste for granted because I was like, Jim, watch Hobbit, and you're like, I'm not gonna watch The Hobbit on principle.
Oh, that's for another podcast. Yeah, it was not principle. It was
God
taste.
damn it!
but-
I've been trying to find Nightclaw covers still, and all I'm getting is a lot of deviant
I'm
art.
telling you, it's Dark Claw.
It's probably Darkclaw. Shit. Alright. Pardon me. Continue.
Very excellent.
Sidetrack completely, but yeah, just short little things. No, never really followed Wolverine, but actually, funny enough, I do follow X-23 a little bit, and she's now Wolverine, so I guess a little bit of how I follow him, kind of sideways.
Daggers.
That's your
Mark.
right.
Yes.
How were you introduced to the famous Knucklehead?
Definitely the show came first. And because of that, it's very hard for me to discern exactly when it is. Because, I mean, Chang first saw him in, like, Miss Marvel. And Brando first saw him in Spider-Man. And I think I probably saw him guest starring in something because it was the 90s. And he guest starred in effing everything. So I just kind of knew who he was from the cartoon, so nothing particularly stuck out as me. It's like, hey, this is the first time I'm seeing this guy in comic. I mean, I definitely got X-Men #1 by Jim Lee and read through that a bunch of times, even though it's really nothing more than, hey, watch the X-Men train for an issue. But that's probably chronologically the first one.
Alright. I myself was introduced to Wolverine through a fucking television show like everybody else, but if you guys recall from an older podcast, I told you my harrowing story about receiving pizza from the land of Pizza Hut and free comic books that way, where I watched him fight the Hulk and Namor. That was a fucking cool comic book, and I think Namor lost.
You mentioned this a little while ago. Are you telling me you would get pizza and they would give you free comic books?
There was like tie-in Pizza Hut comic books that Marvel distributed out. And they actually had like, I don't know, fucking Pizza Hut logo on them.
Okay.
But they were like actual full regular comic books.
Okay.
So like I went there like 3 times. I got 3 different comic books and read like these Marvel stories over and over again till I was like blue in the face. And then the TV shows came out like, oh, I know who these guys are because there's Wolverine. He fights the big stupid guy in the fucking fairy. I don't know, that's what I thought
Did
Namor
you just
was
call
like.
Namor a fairy?
Yeah,
I
he
will
did.
fight you.
He's got ears, man. He's
Imperious
got
Rex!
It's not a far cry to hear about that. Like Pizza Hut comics. I was gonna say, like, right now, GameStop has exclusive, like, Star Wars comics right now, apparently.
I'm
Yeah.
like, the idea of, like, okay, you buy this food product and your child gets some odd object in it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a foreign concept to me. I just
Yeah.
never knew that, like, I'd never heard of it bundled with
Pizza Hut actually had the best ones. They actually had like
Damn, it's so bad.
PlayStation like demo games. Yeah.
You guys getting video games and comics and
Pizza.
pizza orders? Like,
Yeah.
Well, no. See, the thing is,
Jim
it's that,
is
like,
really jealous of
I
all the
feel
kids
like
that
I
got to go to
just
Pizza Hut
secretly
right now.
deprived
He
childhood.
missed out
Like,
on
nobody
something.
told me, but like, you know, I don't know. Like, my
Yeah.
parents were like, "Nah, we're not."
You had to get like a stuffed Cuspisto or like something special.
Oh, no, man. all of the thing was that you had to fucking go to a Pizza Hut that was a sit-down Pizza Hut.
Okay.
It's not like a you order shit Pizza Hut. It's like you sit down. Let's have a nice dinner at Pizza Hut. Let's stop talking about Pizza Hut unless we, you know, Pizza Hut still wants us to talk about
this
them.
from paper cuts to pizza cuts,
Yeah.
and we'll just talk about a different pizza place.
Free
every-
sponsorship. We're not sponsoring anything. I hope you guys know this.
Yeah, okay.
But if Pizza Hut wants to sponsor us, we could be.
Yeah, you know, we'll
Yeah,
drop our
secretly
number.
sold
You
out.
know,
He's just behind the giant. You know, the Pizza Hut representative is just feeding him 20s. You know, it's like, and you just say Pizza Hut maybe like 40 times on your podcast, and then I'll see you next week.
And then
Still recovering from Spaceballs. It was a PR disaster.
Oh,
Well, what do you guys think makes Wolverine so iconic? What do you think are like the most popular things about him? Things that make him a character for the ages.
Those weird black patches on the side of his costume. What are they?
those side bones.
It's just extensions of his sideburns that are woven into the
That's how far down his sideburns go.
Yeah, it's
Just his body hair sticking out the side of his.
Like, he never mentions it, but his sideburns have adamantium cores, and like, he can't shave them. So just weave them into his costume.
Oddly enough, there's probably a transformation of Wolverine somewhere where like his sideburns just eventually go all the way down because he becomes so animalistic at that point or something like that. Like he's just covered in fur.
I can't say. I don't
You
know.
don't, you don't know
He
what
was
makes
feral
him.
Wolverine for a while, and like had bone claws and like pooped on the manor lawn and stuff, or whatever else is included in being feral.
He's a rapist.
These are
Why did you just throw it out there like that?
all very iconic things about Wolverine.
He's Canadian.
Okay, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
he's
that's
Canadian. He's Canadian, good.
This
He's
is a
probably
round
the
table thing, or are we gonna go one by one?
Yeah. 'Cause it
I
seems
mean,
like
this
we're
is
all
a
just-
round table thing.
Probably
at
the
this
most
point.
popular non-American superhero. Like, not that he's not American, but I mean like the most popular superhero that
Was not born in
was
America?
whose character does not originate from America. And don't give me fucking Planet Krypton, Jim, because I know you're about to give me Planet
My mind
Krypton.
is reeling, but I'm just gonna let you do your thing. I'm not gonna pull up your spot.
What about Themyscira?
What?
Themyscira?
Wonder Woman.
You know, Wonder Woman?
Themyscira is is Earth,
Kinda.
Which was the
Which is not America.
which is not America.
right.
I guess she's from Greek islands or whatever.
Yeah, she's Greek.
But
Yeah, she's Greek.
I guess she is Greek. Yeah.
I would.
She
say-
wears star-spangled panties, though. Come on, you can't get more American than that.
I mean,
And
yeah.
an eagle on her chest.
Who do you think serves you hamburgers at diners? American Greek people. It's
See?
it's cool. I mean, I would say Wolverine probably got at least initially big because he was like dark and edgy. Like, I think that he was one of the first dark and edgy, gritty,
Did
mysterious
he start out as a
backstory.
teenager? Pardon, sorry to cut you off. But
No.
didn't his origin start out as a teenager just wearing like a mask?
No,
Putting on
I don't
gloves on?
think
Help
so.
me out. All right, Giant Size X-Men #1 was his first introduction.
No,
No.
he fought the Hulk before that.
Okay, all right. Did he look the same? in
No,
both?
he looks slightly
He had,
different. He had like fucking
cat eyes. I don't know.
Okay.
yeah. He basically had the similar suit except for the sharp, pointy parts that are part of his eyes are like kind of stubbed out a little bit, and he's got like cat whiskers coming down from his nose. It's actually kind of cool looking. I like that.
I wonder if that has to do with his original origin, because I know originally Len Wein or whoever, I think it was Len Wein, wanted him to be a actual animal Wolverine. That's mutation was he was turned into a human, and
Yeah, I remember reading that.
So I wonder if that has something to do with it. Like they were trying to give him whiskers and shit to make him look more Wolverine-ish.
Sounds like some chopper shit from One Piece. But that's the story for the day.
sounds terrible. Like, I'm glad that didn't happen. Like, anytime we hear that thing about, like, originally this character was designed to be like this, it's always a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's never a good thing.
I
You
know,
hear about
Rocket
like first
Raccoon
drafts of
worked out.
Star Wars and stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah. It
The
took
main
that-
character named Starkiller?
Yeah. It took him like 10 fucking years to whatever. But
We all like Star Wars too.
yeah, Star Wars kicks ass. Star Wars is the Wolverine of movies. I mean, Wolverine's also like proven to be like super marketable. You know, like they'll throw him in anything.
I think because he fits through such a large demographic, like he just appeals to that, like, I don't know, base testosterone male instinct that like can be stretched from like the young child, I suppose, like the 8-year-old who just saw laser guns or whatever, and he's like all of a sudden down with violence, and then like to the begrudging 30-year-old, you know, or 40-year-old or 50-year-old who's still like,
Yes.
I'm rough and tough. I don't know. That's the perspective I have on that.
Nothing like an American icon that, you know, is
He's
a
not
crazy beer drinking, you know, violent rage fueled man beast.
He's not an American icon.
Canadian icon.
I get, yeah, he's he's the opposite of Canadians though.
I don't know. One of the things I think really made him appealing early on, I was talking a little bit with Chang and Jim before this, was that originally he was a very mysterious character. Like I said, they never really revealed what his origin was supposed to be for like years and years, and you just get glimpses. You know, there was that, what's it called, Escape from Planet X, whatever that Barry Smith run was. Or Escape from Weapon X, I don't know.
Probably. That sounds right.
Sue me, I don't know. Something with Weapon X in the title, guys. Barry Smith, look it up, it was good. And like they gradually revealed snippets about him, but he was kind of a jokerish character in that there was this mystery as to who he really was. He only even had one name, Logan. And now in the past decade and a half or so, they've fleshed that out a little bit, and I think that maybe that might have a factor in the declining popularity of the X-Men as opposed to Marvel's other franchises. Might have to do with the fact that he's not as mysterious.
He's explained.
I think that they explained him too much, and he lacks some of the mystique that he originally had. No pun intended.
He probably doesn't lack any mystique. Like if you go back far enough, he probably.
I mean, they filled it. Like, they had Origins, which was, like, him in the 19th century, and then they did Origins 2, which was, like, in the 19-teens, and, like, you know, they've done World War II stuff and 60s spy stuff, and it's kind of like they've filled in the gaps mostly, until the point where you're like, yeah, okay, I kind of know what Wolverine's deal was, you know?
Up until a certain point, though, all you really knew was that he'd been around for a certain amount of time, which was long.
Yes.
He's long-lived, and then he ran into Weapon X, lost all his memories, okay? He doesn't even know who he is, and it's this cool tension because, like, Professor X can't get into his mind. There's all this bullshit. They stretched that out for, like, 25 years. Like, that, 1990, it's, Wolverine Origin was in 2001. And for anybody who hasn't read it, it's Paul Jenkins and Andy Kubert. Fucking awesome. Like, absolutely beautiful.
Kubert is just like a comic book writer name nowadays. Like, I feel like it's attached to a lot of writers, but that's just
Artists.
buzzwords for me. Continue.
They're all Joe Kubert's kids.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Is that legitimate?
Yeah, Joe Kubert was like a 40s, 50s, 60s
No, I know
artist.
Joe
and then
Kubert,
and then his kids, Adam and Andy, took over as the next generation of Kuberts. They have their own comic book art school.
Yeah,
They
I
do.
know. It's in Jersey, yeah.
Andy can fucking draw then, dude,
Yeah.
because the art in that was gorgeous. I mean, it was, like, stunning. But, like, it's 25 years where it was, like, nobody knows what the backstory of this character is, and it was a big, important part of his character. Like, with the Joker, like, people, like, ask, like, where did he come from, what was his origin story? It was never that big of a deal. Like, if you read X-Men shit, so much of the drama and tension comes from, like, Wolverine angsting about his past, and writer's ability to insert him into different time periods. Like, when, like, Claremont and Miller turned him into a fucking ninja. Very unexpectedly in the middle of the 80s, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you could do shit like that with him, or it'll be like, oh, well, he served with Cap in World War II. You know, like, stuff like that.
I think that was one of the... I think that's probably why Old Man Logan is the story that's probably been the most defining since Origins for Wolverine, is because it gives some of that mystique back. Like, we don't know what's happened in the intervening years between when that story took place and when... you know, present day Wolverine existed, and so kind of gave people this a return to that sort of mystique of him being the dude with the dark, haunting past that's now just some loner living by himself.
Yeah.
I could hear that. Yeah.
It was also an awesome fucking comic. Like, Old Man Logan fucking ruled. Like, I expected it to be lame, you know, but...
there were some lame bits, but...
It wasn't perfect, but look, if we do the thing where every popular superhero has to have a future that's fucked up...
Yeah,
you know,
that was
one of the
a...
good ones.
Yeah, that definitely falls on the good side of the line.
Yeah.
I also think there's a certain amount of comic book fans reflected in him. He's not, like, super smart or anything. Like, you know, he's not Reed Richards. And he's more of just this down-to-earth guy, but he's kind of an outcast, both because he's mutant and just because he's kind of a dick. And he, like... So he's got this whole, like, loner persona, and he pretty much gets friend-zoned. And it's like, he kind of has this nerd sympathy thing where, you know, you look at him and you're like, you know...
That's me.
Yeah.
Without claws.
Yes, that's me if I were a badass.
Right,
Or a violent
monster.
monster.
I'm secretly a badass.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get chicks, I drink too much, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't get along with people, but secretly, you know, I'm a tough, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who can grow a mean pair of sideburns.
I know, right? Yeah.
Wow,
else?
is he the most popular comic book character to get friend-zoned?
Probably.
I mean, we
Probably.
talk about
Besides-
Spider-Man, but Spider-Man gets everybody. Let's face it.
What about
Yeah,
Wonder
but he
Woman's toy?
Steve
Trevor.
Trevor.
Yeah, thank you. I was thinking, what's his name, Steve or Trevor? I forgot to just put them together.
I think Steve, if you're dating, you're talking about Wonder Woman's.
Yeah, Wonder
Okay,
Woman.
he's got to get off on that on some level. Like,
Yeah.
If you look at who Wonder Woman is and like what her dynamic is, Steve is probably like a cuck. You know what I mean? It's just like he digs that. You know?
I
had to
totally
speculate.
buy into that. Yes, 100%.
I can't wait to do
your
it.
lasso of truth.
Yeah.
I really hope Earth 1
Oh,
Wonder
no.
Woman
If
is
Steve is in it, you know Morrison's not gonna be. Oh yeah.
I hope we
absolutely.
do a Wonder Woman character thing soon.
It'll be only that. We'll do it.
But
Anything
then
else?
again, Wolverine always ends up getting like some sort of like crazy bitch at some point though.
Yeah, anybody that he does get with ends up turning to be death personified. Like, you know,
Jean.
Silver Fox, Lady Deathstrike, Jean.
Yeah. My name became
Mystique.
Lady Deathstrike. Haha.
What happened to his wife at the end of? I just read the Frank Miller, Chris Claremont run.
She's murdered, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's murdered.
Like when? Because it doesn't happen in issue
It's
4.
not. It's not too far towards the end. It's like midway, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I don't think it's in the initial mini. I
It's
think
not.
it's...
It ends with Emperor Hirohito.
Oh right.
Literally Emperor Hirohito, like from World War II. Like the God Emperor of Japan sends a letter to the X-Men inviting them to Wolverine's wedding.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
That guy was Emperor forever, though.
I know, yeah, he didn't die till the 90s, but it was just weird to see reading it now, you know. It was like bizarre and also like not necessary that he was the one who authored the invitation because he wasn't mentioned elsewhere in the comic. I don't know, whatever. It was cool. But like, what the fuck happened to her? She dies?
Mariko, yeah, she died at some point. I don't know when.
Okay.
I believe she's killed by like a ninja clan, and then like him and Katana, like they go and seek revenge on Silver.
Katana's DC, bro.
Not Katana. Fuck. Who's the other?
Yukio?
Some sort of Yukio, I think.
Yeah.
Female ninja.
Female,
Katana.
yeah, Yukio, yeah.
The actress who plays Yukio plays Katana in Arrow.
You're
so-
right, she does. It's the same.
There's some sort of
actress.
cross-dimensional
Riko Fukushima,
waves
yeah.
happening right now. But ignore me. But yeah, I believe she's killed by some sort of rival ninja family Yakuza clan. I have to look into it for the details because I'm just rubbing off vibes. Because I did read this story, one of the few, possibly only Wolverine stories that I read. And after that, he seeks revenge.
Yeah.
Before getting over it and going back to America.
I don't remember when, but he
Finding
does get the
everything.
Matt Murdock treatment there
Okay.
at least once.
Right. Because it's literally the same hand. It's the same ninja organization that, like, Daredevil's always fucking around with at that time. Okay. Dan, you're probably so done with this question, so ready to move on.
I mean, there's a lot of fucking things to talk about. It's Wolverine, so there's a lot of iconic things about the motherfucker. Anything else, guys?
The suit is fucking iconic and
That's
like
true.
dumb looking.
Did you ever
I mean,
notice?
it's so iconic at this point though that even like as soon as like the next Wolverine was decided, literally after the fight for the claw or whatever they wanted to call it, like
Battle for the Claw.
Battle for the Claw.
that the person who is now seen
Yeah,
as
that's what I was
Wolverine,
thinking.
X-23, is now wearing the suit,
Okay.
despite never having anything else to do with Wolverine besides being his clone.
Yeah.
I'll agree that it's
She
an oddly
puts on
designed
his suit.
We will talk about this.
Okay, alright. So, moratorium on that for now.
I don't know why the suit became popular.
I always
It's
like the orange and black one myself.
yeah, the orange and black ones. But I
It
mean, the
looks a
design.
lot
ones
better,
are all-
I
honestly.
feel like it's like as if everybody liked like Hawkeye's suit. Like
I get
Well,
what you're saying, yeah.
I like the orange and black a lot, but like ever since they did the yellow blue, they've kind of giving him more of the yellow tone, I guess.
kind of Hawkeye's like reviled as like the guy who has like never had a good costume. Like in my opinion, like can you think of a Hawkeye costume that is legitimately like approved of?
I like the movies
No,
Hawkeye,
the
just
original
like the
one,
black
because it's
You
suit.
mean
just
sunglasses?
You mean
Yeah.
Sunglasses
and
are not a fucking costume.
That's like sunglasses and Under Armour. Okay, cool. Like, I mean, granted, Age of Ultron, it makes him look a little bit more like.
Oh, they give him a Neo coat,
yeah, the Neo coat, yeah, which makes
Hawkeye
him look.
looks fucking. I've never heard of this before. He looks awesome. He's
I think,
just
yeah, you know-
purple and strappy. He's like a baby. He's like a tiny Galactus.
And when you say that out loud, how does
Wow.
that sound to you, Jim?
No. The second
You
part when he
can't-
said he's like a tiny Galactus just kind of blew my mind a
You
little
can't,
bit.
first of all, to answer you directly, you can't say an image. So I can't verbally project what Hawkeye looks like with my mouth words. Well, we're all listening to this, familiar with it, you know. So it sounds like what it looks like. I don't know. Hawkeye looks awesome. And I always assume that, like, the color choices for comic book characters just comes down to, like, ink. Like, I always know that they bitch about, like, well, we only had, like, 4 colors to use on every page, so we made this guy, like, green. That's why.
Yeah.
Stop asking. Like,
Good times.
What else do you got for us,
Yeah,
Dan?
yeah, just throw it back.
So we
Out
can
of
go on
curi-
about the iconism of...
Out of curiosity, alright, I'm gonna go around for this one. Do you guys like the Scott, Jean, Logan love triangle thing? That rears its ugly head pretty much in every form of media, and that's what we always watch on screen. Do you think that's something that's played out? Brenda?
Again, the extent of my X-Men comic reading extends to God Loves, Man Kills, that miniseries by Frank Miller, and that might be it. Like, that might be it. And besides him popping up in Spider-Man that one time that I can really remember, that I mentioned a few moments ago, I never really had to deal with the Scott, Jean, Logan triangle in like a very intimate relationship, at least in my reading experiences. So watching it, yeah, I see it in the movies. Obviously, we've all seen it in the films. We've seen it, touched on in the animated series. We've seen it in. I watched some of the 2006 X-Men anime that they produced in Japan, and that's very dramatic and a little too much for me. But beside the point, that relationship is, I don't know. I'm not tired of it, but I'm not really attached to the idea of love triangles that much, unless they're humorous. So I could care less.
What do you think, Eric? Do you like this love triangle? You think it should continue forever? Should that be the thing that's in our fucking movies?
I mean, I feel like Wolverine should just give up.
He really should move
He just
on.
wants what he can't have, man.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure every guy has that thing where it's like, you want something that you can't have.
Yeah.
But Wolverine should just, man, you know how long he's been living just for this one girl. I mean, he's been living for a long time, and then she comes up and he wants to do that. That's like, dude, just leave it alone. You've been a long time. Just.
That's what I was gonna say. I forgot to mention, since you brought up this dynamic, this relationship, this interest of these three characters. I call him a rapist for this because I always get a rapey vibe from the relationship.
He is kind of rapey.
Because I'm like, he's kind of like God knows how old now. Like, who cares? But he's old as fuck. And like, she's primarily known as like a teenage character, correct? Like Jean.
For a long time. Not quite when they met. When they met, they were both adults, but...
To your
she
end, we
changes.
could go with the Rogue and Jubilee and
Kitty
whatever.
Pryde.
Kitty
Yeah.
Pryde.
Okay, but like at
He
this,
does like hanging out with teenage girls an awful lot for a guy who's 150.
okay, but
I have to
his
say,
age,
in his
what's he
defense-
gonna do? Like bang 150-year-old chicks?
No,
Like,
I'm just saying-
This is the Marvel
Yeah, exactly.
universe, dude.
Like-
there are those things.
That's true.
The only one I could possibly sleep with is Fin Fan Foom.
Well, how long's Mystique been around? You know, like there are a lot of people that have been around for a while. It's like
It's not like I'm saying he needs to find like an age-appropriate match. Like, okay, Wolverine, go find some fucking lady who survived, like, you know, I don't know, the depression, and just like, you know, have that.
Okay.
But I'm just saying,
He's a chicken hawk, okay? He's a chicken hawk, but that's a far cry from being actually rapey.
okay.
Like, in my humble opinion.
I
I'm
just
gonna
found
split hairs, but
I just found his attraction unfounded, maybe a little bit, and he just comes off as creepy when he expresses his fascination with Jean. Like, I don't see where it's coming from.
okay.
And besides, like a very
also, you know, he's always like smelling her hair from a distance.
Yeah.
With his super senses.
Thank you. Like, yeah, like just even that. You know, the way he interacts with his senses, more of that. That was just the vibe I've been getting from him. So yeah, just please continue. Someone else.
Jim, what do you think about the love triangle between Scott and Jean and Wolverine?
I think it's classic. I think it's absolutely awesome. When I read X-Men, I love to see it referenced. That said, I don't read X-Men a lot, and it's something that's like overwrought. You know, I do think that they drag it out and have beaten it to fucking death. I think that they do that because it's classic. I also love, you know, if you do read the Wolverine Origins series, there's a reason why Jason, after that redheaded chick, is like so deeply buried in his psyche. Really cool shit. That's 25 years after the fact, but yeah, thumbs up on that one to me. As somebody who doesn't check in all that frequently, you know, I don't feel overexposed to it. And you know, it's just part of the X-Men mythology. You know, it's Batman can't have a girlfriend because he's too intense and lonery and gritty and all that shit. And Wolverine wants what he can't have. I kind of like that. Yeah.
Oh, it's you, Chang.
Well, reading somewhat of the all-new X-Men, you know, you go and you learn that basically everybody wanted to put their dick in Jean Grey. Just straight up, Beast. Professor X was like pining over her for the longest time. Angel, everybody. Other than probably Bobby, who turns out to be gay, wanted to put their dick in that.
Peter Parker even hit on her, I think, in some early Marvel team-up.
He even hit on her in On New X-Men because she went over to the Amazing Universe and the Amazing Spider-Man hit on her.
Also, like, if you go back, I mean, there's a panel in one of the early X-Men issues where Professor X, like, mentally goes off on a thing about how he loves Jean Grey and can never tell her. Like,
and this was teenage Jean Grey.
Yeah.
And this was, like, Korean War vet Professor X.
No, he was an old man, like, with no hair in a wheelchair, and he's just like, I can never tell her how much I love her. And, like, they didn't address it for, like, 50 years. Like,
so, yeah, it was never really, like,
surrounded by rape.
I kind of just missed the love triangle, and I just kind of see it as, like,
and she's a telepath, so she knows everybody around her is like, damn.
Yeah, like in the 80s though, I feel like there's a lot of like misappropriated use of like the telepathy. Like, I don't know. I just felt like I read a lot of it, especially because of Professor X. But again, go to someone else. I always derail.
Mark, what do you think about the classic love triangle? Fan, not a fan?
I think Scott Logan Jean is totally boring, and I think Jean Emma Scott is totally interesting. As far as X-Men love triangles go, I would much rather see Scott Summers telepathically cheat on his girlfriend for half an hour. And I would, wife, right? Weren't they married at that point? I don't know.
I think so.
Whatever. I like the fact that it's probably the only example in, like, popular culture where Jean makes the realistic decision and goes with Scott because he's not a fucking lunatic, as opposed to every other form of media that's like, no, the weirdo gets the girl, and it's like, no, that doesn't happen.
Very true on that point.
It's just like an anti-Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
It's just like, why the fuck is this like model, like actress, like hanging out with like the high school nerd? You know?
Exactly.
Sorry, I never knew. Well, even with like if you're referring to MJ, it's like I don't know why Mary Jane like ever wanted to date him, because like when I read that, just from my Spider-Man's perspective, I was like, he's the most depressing guy like this side of like Matt Murdock. So I was just like, so like, you must be like some sort of like cape chaser or something, because you want, I don't know.
They did reveal that she found that out when she was like you know, like she was visiting her aunt and saw him like getting changed or something.
Oh, okay.
And she knew he was Spider-Man all along or something.
Interesting.
Which would explain that.
Yeah.
Alright, to that end, since we're talking about
Spider-Man,
Scott,
let's just keep going with Spider-Man for the rest of
let's
the
go
podcast.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man!
Okay.
Guys, what was your favorite Spider-Man movie? Sorry.
Oh, easily.
fuck Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 3.
So that
The
ends
Amazing
since we're
Spider-Man 2.
on the topic of Cyclops.
Half decent.
Cyclops
No,
is kind of
probably
like...
actually my favorite. Sorry. Continue. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm talking over you a lot today.
It's okay.
Well, also not talking about Wolverine a lot today.
Speaking of Cyclops, Cyclops is kind of like de facto leader of the X-Men. Every single time I think a lot of people envision the X-Men, he's always that leader, that kind of stone-faced guy. But Wolverine is always the guy who, even though he doesn't want to be the leader, always kind of inserts himself in that place. Everything that Scott wants, Wolverine is going to have or try to get. Why do you think Wolverine ultimately is a more interesting or even better character than Scott? If you think that.
Bullshit.
Oh, I mean, if you look anywhere, for the most part, Scott Summers' Cyclops is not really represented on anything. Wolverine, however, tons of like merchandising, his own movies and that kind of shit. Every single time like Scott tries to get something, Wolverine gets it instead.
Popular does not equal de facto more interesting character. Dan.
Yeah.
Okay, but there is an association, and there's also sort of two questions there. It's like, why? Okay. To me, what I heard, and this maybe will betray my answer, is why is Wolverine so awesome and why is Scott such a little wiener? Right? Like,
Yeah, you know what?
maybe that's not what you were asking.
Maybe I do have a little bit of
Bias.
a bias
We'll
when
call
I
it.
ask these questions. I'm secretly saying fuck Scott in every question.
Yeah, I will back that. Okay, like, because Wolverine, like, is cool and, like, a badass.
Although right
and-
now, you seem to really like Scott Summers.
We'll talk about
When we did favorite X-Men, you said Scott Summers was your favorite X-Men.
That's
Oh,
a
wow.
new fucking thing, man.
That's new Scott. Like, for, like, billions of years.
No,
like,
I get it. You're learning stuff about yourself. It's okay.
I can't help these feelings, guys. I can't. Scott, you've tantalized me in ways that I didn't know before, but old Scott, you go fuck yourself.
But anyways, Jim, what were you saying?
But Old Scott
I
is
don't
also
remember.
cool 'cause he's like
It's just, I don't know, like, it's just like, Wolverine's like, well, let's go do this thing, and it'll be really cool. And then Scott goes, no, that's against the rules we're not opposed to. And I'm just like, that's stupid. Like, you're lame. Like, why? You can shoot lasers out of your eyes. Like, how are you not cool? Like, I don't know.
See, I always kind of like that though because he was so powerful. It's like you shoot a laser beam out of your eye, you could just vaporize somebody's head.
It's
No,
a
that
con-
is
You
so-
had
it's
you
a
had to be
concussive
good.
laser, though, Chang,
If
which
he-
means it does blunt force trauma.
If he wanted to, he could make it so strong that it would blunt force trauma the head off the shoulder.
Fair
okay?
enough.
Yeah, he's
So-
definitely, yeah.
Like he had to be that moral rock
Okay.
for the X-Men. Otherwise, like, what would be the point of him being the badass if he just goes? If he was the badass, he would just go and laser beam someone's head off.
Okay, alright.
Like he did to Charles Xavier.
It's still like, okay, so that's a very good reason for why he is the anal retentive X-Men. But like, I don't want to, like, if you make me pick between like the crazy wilderness dude who like smokes cigars and drinks and the guy who's like, well, 8 o'clock, time to go to bed. Like, fuck that guy. That's my answer. I don't know.
I
See, the way-
maintain that Cyclops has never been that guy except on the X-Men cartoon series and maybe the 90s Jim Lee comics.
Well,
I mean, if you think about it, since Morrison, Whedon, Bendis, Fraction, Brubaker, he's always been kind of like a revolutionary dude. Like, no, I'm going to take control of the X-Men. Charles is a dick. We're going to go build our own island in the middle of the Pacific and just be our own country. So, like, clearly for the last 15 years, Cyclops has been pretty different and pretty awesome and a lot more interesting than Wolverine. Before that, I'd say, really, in the 70s and 80s, he was ostensibly had more pathos. And I'd almost say that's why people liked Wolverine better, is because Cyclops started to seem a little weepy. It was always like, oh, we've got to save Jean. Oh, Jean's dead. Oh, I'll never get Jean back. Oh, Madeline's here. Oh, Madeline's a demon. Oh, But it was still like, he was actually doing more. As far, like, in the realm of X-Men comics, he was the most popular of the 60s X-Men.
Yeah.
And so I think in the 70s and early 80s, he plays a more prominent role in X-Men comics than Wolverine. So while Wolverine was able to kind of sit back, be the cool, tough guy, and not really have to go through a lot of man pain and trauma to make it interesting, Cyclops was forced to, and that made him seem a little weepy for a while.
Right.
And then when they came back from that, they just made him like super leadery for a while. And I think they got out of that. I think that really since New X-Men, he hasn't been that way.
They definitely did like damage control on Cyclops.
Yeah.
Like, any X-Men shit I've read from the 2000s onward was like, holy shit, like Scott's a lot cooler.
Yeah.
And they have a lot like better stuff going on with him. So like thumbs up on that. I'm not sitting here trying to talk like massive amounts of shit on Scott. I'm just saying like.
I also like his visual design.
No, Scott, if you're listening,
the visor, it's just so cool.
If you're listening, Scott, we're sorry. I mean,
I
kinda like you.
He's received far worse abuse than this. I mean, if you know.
How about you guys?
How about you, Eric? Anything? I'm just gonna deflect for a second.
I don't even know what
I think the question was like, was detailed, and then it just became Cyclops or Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna choose Wolverine because
I'm gonna choose this Sour Patch Kid.
yeah, it was good.
Is that the one that was in his sandal?
No. If you have to choose Cyclops or Wolverine, I'm gonna choose Wolverine because I'm biased. I'm gonna buy stuff.
Yeah, I know, you won't. For me, I don't know. I think I'll go for Cyclops only because of I don't feel any more attachment to either character. But if I had to choose one, it would be Cyclops because, like Mark said, I'm a little more attached to the visual design. I was never overly fond of Wolverine's costume. Just aesthetically, I think that the visor looks cool. I don't know why. Maybe some sort of sci-fi meta games that are playing in my brain, but it's more direct. His power is cooler.
I thought he was hella dorky with that visor.
It's all good, man. Like you could look like a shitty 80s background dancer in like a music video, but he still looks cooler than a dude who's got weird horns and
I was into that.
Why does his hair match his mask, and why doesn't his hair get mussed when he's wearing the mask?
I don't know, man.
Why does he cut his hair like that in the fucking first place? Like it's not punk rock.
I don't think it's like
dude
cut
from
like
the
that.
Prodigy,
He just...
you know what I mean? Where he's like 2 mohawks. You know what I mean? Like his hair just grows like that. Like naturally.
He's secretly Japanese. He's got the spiky hair syndrome. I don't know what's going on with him, but yeah, that's my answer for you, Dan. A Cyclops, despite him being a bit of a Boy Scout and kind of a boring character, I seem to have an affinity for those kind of characters. So, and Wolverine, I'm not really over fond of the super tough, rough guy who's the coolest guy in the room because I don't know I just don't know. Looks like a douche.
I feel like we all like we as comic fans like Wolverine, but if we ever actually met a person like Wolverine, we would not want to be around him.
We're scared of him. He's knows more about sports than we do. You know what I mean? We avoid him and go read a comic book. Yeah.
Well, not even that, but it's he would be the kind of guy who I would just see and be like, if I hang around you, you're gonna end up doing something that gonna keep you alive, but I'm gonna get blasted. My arm's gonna get ripped off or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about actually palling around with Wolverine, the superhuman weapon.
I just meant a dude like
another
Wolverine.
guy.
Yeah, a dude in a
dude like Wolverine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already friends with a dude like Wolverine, so it doesn't even matter,
Dude, his defining character trait is post-traumatic stress. That's his fourth superpower. It's crazy metal claws, healing factors, super senses, post-traumatic stress disorder, unbreakable bones, in that order. And
so he's looking across from the Terminator and Rambo.
Yeah.
He's just a robot with PTSD.
You make it sound so cool like that, but he's still rapey like Rambo.
You keep saying that, and I have yet to think of a single example where Wolverine has whatever.
No, it's just the concept. Jean is clearly with Scott, and they're all doing their Mooney shit, oh, Jean, oh, Scott. I like how I reverse the voices. Job. It actually works better that way. I like to picture Scott having a very high-pitched voice and Jean having a very, Dr. Girlfriend voice. And,
I'm interested.
Oh my god, my boyfriend, Scott Summers. You are so sexy and hot. And I am only thinking of Scott Summers and not that hot piece of ass Logan.
And then they get this, Wolverine thing, you've seen the internet meme where he's touching the photograph of her.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, the cartoon
Wolverine.
series.
Yeah, like
He does appear rapey in that because like
he can't get over some other dude's
Fucking
girlfriend.
American Beauty. That's
It's
just like
effing
the most
weird.
beautiful thing I've ever seen. Blah, blah, blah. That's not at all threatening. Like it's, I don't know. Maybe
No, he
No,
does
it
like
wouldn't
no
be at
stuff,
all
though, because
threatening
it's not
if he
just
wasn't,
like a picture
like-
of Gene. Like it's originally a picture of like Gene and Scott, but like he'll take his car and like rip Scott out
Yeah.
of it, and then like have like the real thing where like he puts it in a photograph next to like him,
And
kind of
Jerry-
like.
If he weren't an immortal
That's
death
us.
machine, yeah,
Yeah,
your point might
like,
hold.
that's the kid from American Beauty. Take that, replace him by a super soldier who's got like alcohol issues and metal claws. Like,
But he never metal claws her like into the back of his like Chevy or anything. He doesn't do that. Like you're inferring something that maybe I missed it. Maybe
How
it's
do you
just
think
the tone.
Rogue
I'm not
got
saying
in that
that.
car in the first X-Men movie?
It's the tone. It's not like he's an actual rapist. I'm not saying he has like rape tendencies where he's like actually premeditating rape.
He's just
porn.
rapey.
he's
Someone
just
can be
yeah.
rapey without being a rapist.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna weigh in on that. Like, this-
Thank you, Mark. How eloquently put. Dan,
All
next
right.
question.
Yeah.
and to whoever thinking, making fun of rape, we're not,
Oh yeah, thanks.
whoever is like, oh my god, you guys are laughing about people, raping, rape. Being so sensitive.
In the podcast before this,
for covering our
we were totally like talking up on yay ISIS and shit like that. So no,
Yeah, no, this is tamed by the-
yeah, I know, but
comparison.
we already touched
some
on the
people.
fact that Logan legitimately has PTSD, so trigger warning and all that.
Yeah. So
TW guys, TW. Be safe. Be safe. Be well.
Work on it.
Anyway,
What would you guys say? Like, what's your favorite
Don't do hard drugs.
Logan-centric moment? Do you have like a moment or a storyline where you think that's particularly a strong example of the character?
Yes, where Spider-Man punches his face through a tombstone. That was my favorite moment. That, or when Spider-Man beat all the X-Men by himself in Secret Wars. That might
You took mine! You took
That was so
mine!
good. So, one of those were probably my favorite moments for Wolverine.
Well, I was gonna say the Spider-Man beating the entire X-Men and saying, your
forgetting
claws might scare the barflies or whatever,
Yeah,
but they
yeah.
don't scare me to Wolverine.
Yeah.
But since you took that, I'm gonna have to say the time Iron Fist beat Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Colossus all at the same time,
Right.
and wasn't even a tie until Storm and Jean showed up and were like, "Why are you guys fighting?"
Right.
And so yeah, that was good. So it was written by Chris Claremont and John Byrne, like the classic Wolverine guys.
Yeah.
Clearly had Wolverine get his ass kicked by Iron Fist with the help of his two friends. Like,
I got a question now because of that. Everyone seems, in the Marvel Universe, people in general seem to be afraid of mutants. Yet, time and time again, they're getting their asses handed to them by just about every other superhero.
well, see, this is what happened. Wolverine and Magneto and the mutants had power creep. Jim brought this concept up earlier in the Flash podcast, where basically they had set powers when they started out. Wolverine was a guy with sharp hands that could, like, heal maybe a little better than a normal person.
yeah.
But as he got more popular, he got more powerful. So in the late 70s, early 80s, you see stuff like, Mr. Fantastic taking out Magneto by himself easily. Or like Spider-Man easily beating the entire X-Men until Professor X and Cyclops show up.
Right.
Or Iron Fist taking on 3 X-Men and winning. But then as they got more popular in the 80s, they increased their powers so that that type of thing didn't happen anymore. So even the Spider-Man-Wolverine fight, like, yes, Spider-Man does eventually come out on top, but it's like a hard-fought thing, whereas just 2 years earlier, Spider-Man was able to take out Wolverine and all his friends like it wasn't a thing.
Gotcha.
And so just gradually they power creep them up to the point where, like in Civil War, Wolverine gets blown away to nothing but a skeleton and manages to come back in like a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
And it's like, he wasn't that powerful in the 70s and 80s, and they've just kind of ramped him up with his popularity. The more popular a character is, the more powerful he is.
Right.
That's why the Hulk beat Thor for years, and now all of a sudden Thor's tougher than the Hulk, is because it's based on who's popular at any given moment.
Wasn't there an incident where Wolverine regenerated from like a pool of blood?
Yeah, he regenerated from a drop.
Okay.
A drop of blood.
Right.
I've heard of
That's
this
some
one.
bullshit. That's some
I
stupid
think it
shit.
was a name. There was like some magic crystal or some horse shit like that.
There is some sort of magic divinity. I remember the image. I've had it explained to me. I have vague images of like mystical scriptures in the room.
Okay.
A divine light. Wolverine was definitely coming in a Jesus pose after he was regenerating. We'll discuss this after podcast because I don't want to Google midway. But he definitely regenerated, and it was from like at least like a very like not even a puddle. Like it was like a vial of blood.
So even the skeleton was gone.
Yeah,
So
everything was
everybody,
gone. It
like,
was just
fell.
blood. It was just like a very minuscule amount of blood, and he just came his whole body back.
As long as I have one cell, I can
Yeah.
never keep my entire self.
Basically. Like that.
Now,
Yeah.
what doesn't make sense about that is, okay, so his pool of blood can turn back into him. So every time he gets cut and loses a pool
Yeah, I
of blood,
know.
does
They
that
make
then
new
grow a
Wolverines.
new Wolverine? Is he
Yeah.
a starfish?
Or the fucking broom from Fantasia.
Yes, he's the broom from Fantasia! Wolverine is the comic book equivalent of the broom from Fantasia.
Okay. Hey Chang, what's your favorite Wolverine moment / comic?
I haven't really read enough of him.
You don't even need to read. Just favorite Wolverine stuff.
Like I said, the only time I really read about him, because like all new X-Men don't really cover with him or anything like that, was when he was actually in it with Miss Marvel.
So palling around with Miss Marvel.
It's
I
just
guess
wrong
so.
before. Yeah, they're hanging out. Thanks.
Kamala?
Yeah, come on,
yeah.
in the Souls. You
Is
just
it
fight an alligator in
It's
the
supposed to be a
Souls.
fairly young character, right?
Well, God, no, she hell yeah.
Oh no.
Okay,
Teenager.
alright, so get back.
Yeah, yeah.
Another teenage girl. Good, Wolverine. Good. That's not creepy at all, man.
Yeah, when he's done hanging out at his school of teenagers, he has to go out and find other ones.
He's a teacher.
That
Boy,
makes it even better.
Yeah, you guys are swaying me on
He
this
did
one.
do something nice for an introduction.
Listen, I'm not
to
convinced unless he's also a priest at some point.
He used to be
Mark.
a teacher and a
Dude,
priest.
he's been alive for 150 years. He's probably been a priest.
Fuck.
He was the army chaplain for Nick Fury.
And
I
that's
don't
only-
know.
That's only for boys, anyway. It's not for girls.
I'm sure he officiated like one wedding or two. Maybe North Stars.
Jim, what's your favorite Logan-centric moment?
This is an oddball one, but definitely, like, if I had to just pick one, I'm gonna go with the opening pages of Ultimate Wolverine versus Hulk by Damon Lindelof. I never know how to pronounce his name. It was an infamous miniseries that took like 70 years to come out, and there's only like 5 issues of it. The art's fucking gorgeous. But anyway, it opens up. It's fucking awesome. It's just Wolverine, and it's just the top half of him, and he's crawling through the Himalayan mountains, and it just says, like, I don't remember exactly how long the distance was. It was like 5 miles. The fucker threw my legs 5 miles. And he's following the smell of his own legs so that he can, like, reconnect his body. You know what I mean? But he's just, like, following the central of it, and he's just, like clawing it. You can't see it because it's auditory medium, but I'm, like, moving my hands like I'm climbing a mountain. It was awesome. And the art was gorgeous, so it really, underscored that.
Wait. So 3 out of 4 of us here have picked times of Wolverine getting his ass handed to him completely by other Marvel characters.
Well, I'm not going to pick, like, the time Wolverine felt really good.
That's not a defining moment of Wolverine ever.
No.
Wolverine's best when he's getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah. Also, when I think it was the White Queen made him think that he was a character from like a Jane Austen novel or something.
Ooh,
like
Cassandra Nova,
that.
yeah.
That was fucking awesome. Yeah.
I'm the best there is at what I do, and what I do is so terribly pretty.
He was like picking daisies and stuff. Was that Joss Whedon?
Yeah, that was
Okay,
Joss
alright,
Whedon.
that was fucking awesome too. I don't know if that counts as being him because whatever, but that was cool.
I did like that, especially when like Beast is like chowing down on his arm. He's like, "Be careful, or the scary blue creature will come and get you." He's like hanging around in like the tree because Beast can't get him there. He's like, "Ah!"
I love the little paper dolls he makes.
I want to reread
That's one of my favorite moments too.
I have to read this.
Eric, what's your favorite Logan-centric moment?
Where he killed everyone in the X-Men Academy.
No, it's not.
Oh, and Old Man Logan?
Yeah, Old Man Logan.
Alright.
I was like, so that's why. And I felt terrible for him. I was like, you know what? I don't feel that bad because I'm like, you know what? This is a good perspective. You should look at things differently from now on. I'm like, I'm glad you don't kill anymore. But when I read through the whole Old Man Logan, I was like, this is getting pretty cool. And then the moment he does it, I was like, yeah.
We didn't mention Earth X earlier. I don't know why this is coming to me, but I do love that in Earth X, Wolverine plays almost no role except for the fact he actually in this reality managed to get Jean, and they both just got really fat and just bitch at each other while they're watching whatever's happening on TV, and it almost goes to show like how absolutely unhappy it would be to live with an argumentative like bastard like that like constantly.
He's probably very accustomed to being alone. You know, like people like that don't often jump into committed relationships like smoothly.
Like
you know?
he was just like watching the TV, like drinking, and she's like henpecking him from the kitchen, and they're both like enormous, and it's
I
just
have to read that. Oh god, so like the Lockhorns in the Marvel universe.
yeah, pretty much. They have turned into the Lockhorns, and it's hilarious.
I think one of my favorite Wolverine moments is actually present in a Psylocke comic. I think it's just called Psylocke, actually, by Chris Yost. Came out a couple years ago. It shows, like, Psylocke had been dead for a while at this point, but for a limited amount of time, Wolverine would go to Japan. He flies to Japan every year to go to the father of Mariko Yoshida, who eventually like got his daughter killed, who he loved very, very much, and he very slowly deforms him. Like, every year, he takes a body part. So he's like all fucked up and in this like bed, and he has no nose, and his ears are completely fucked up, and all of his fingers are gone, and he's like slowly torturing this guy. Every year he goes back to Japan to fuck this guy up some more, and Psylocke has to go to Japan because she has very strong connections there, a la Koanon and that kind of shit, to where she actually has to try to stop Wolverine, and he's just a rage-fueled mess. But
So Wolverine's been going back and removing body parts from this dude
yeah,
himself? Okay.
himself, he's been clawing them off. This once a year, on the anniversary of Mariko Yoshida's death.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That makes me really want to read that.
How about the time Spider-Woman stabbed him in the throat with his own claws in New Avengers? Like, they end up in the Savage Land, and he tries to creep up on her, and she just does her, like, spidery thing.
Not today, rapist.
Yeah, and throws his claws into his own neck, and then, like, it's written by Bendis, and it's just one of my favorite portrayals of the healing factor, because it takes him, like, a while. For the next couple panels, all he can say is, like, gurgle and pop. And then once he starts to, like, get it back, it's like a whisper, like, bitch stabbed me with my own claws. and I remember reading an interview with him, and he was like, we were trying to bring back this, like, 70s character that nobody cared about, and we were like, how do we make them a badass? We just have her take down, like, the biggest guy in the prison, and that's Wolverine, and I really like that moment, and I think that's when I started to like Spider-Woman as a character. I think it turned out she was a Skrull later, so it didn't fucking matter anyway.
She was awesome in that era of Marvel
Yeah.
Comics, though. Like, when they brought back, like, all those 70s characters.
Yeah,
no
like
fucking reason.
Luke Cage. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was awesome. She was great in that. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite other moments of Wolverine is actually pretty recent. It's in an issue of Wolverine's, and I forget which issue completely. One of the characters who is like remembering Wolverine in a fond light talks about the one time they tried to get Wolverine really drunk, because as he has a healing factor, he cannot get drunk. So one of like the magic-based superheroes try to like magically turn off his healing factor for a little bit, and they strap like a huge like fucking clear barrel of alcohol to his back, and they siphon it straight into his mouth, and they give him like a mixture of like LSD and a bunch of other like fucking drugs that he's doing at the same time, and he's at this bar just
The
sipping
death
away.
of Wolverine.
And
Raves too hard.
he raves very hard, but he accidentally snicked his claws backwards into his hands. Like, I didn't know he could even do that, but it goes backwards and he accidentally like, stabs himself in another part of his fucking hands.
You know what I don't buy about that? Weren't his claws made by Weapon X? Some engineer sat there and thought, yeah, he might need to do that one day. Yeah, that sounds good. Like, retractable, telescoping in the opposite direction, of course.
Well, aren't his hands like anymore like the bones? Like, aren't they supposed to just be all like just coating
gets
his bones?
so
So like
confusing.
now it's his own body that can retract and
Yeah, he does have bone
Yeah.
claws sometimes.
It gets like I think like he originally always was supposed to have had bone claws, but like they changed like what parts of him were cybernetic implants and what parts of it were like naturally part of who he was. Like it gets fucking confusing. All that Weapon X mythology is insane. It's for crazy people, you know.
All right, so
To lend a positive one in there, since we've had a lot of bad ones, I do like the time when Dark Phoenix Saga where he's the only X-Men left standing and he gets up in the sewer and he's all like, I just feel like we've been ragging on Wolverine for
issue Old
Wolverine.
Man Logan, where he comes back to see, the tragics of his family, and he goes out, Hulkland.
Kills the banners.
So, yeah, kills the
Deliverance banners.
Yeah. Oh, holy shit! Deliverance banners. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And he just goes in and just wrecks. I'm like, oh my goodness! I'm so happy you are fixing your problems.
Yeah, that was a better ending, because at first I thought that story was going to end with the stupid Red Skull and the Captain America costume, and I was like, this is the stupidest shit I ever saw. And then they pulled a different ending, and I like that better.
So no spoilers, right? We're not doing spoilers?
Look,
no, we're totally a spoilery podcast. We definitely are. Just say spoilers first.
or after, or not at all.
Yeah,
Or have a lengthy discussion about the nature of spoilers on our podcast. in the
Spoilers
middle
when
of
he
the
pulls out his
podcast.
claw on Old Man Logan. Oh my god, I was so happy. Dude, you don't know how happy it was when he did it. I was like, yes, shit is about to go down. like the moment you knew he was gonna pull out his claws, you knew someone's gonna get fucked up. And I was glad it was like, no, the banners. I was like, this is gonna be a fun fight. And
To the point with him, like, snicked, the sound effect, you instantly know that it's Logan.
yeah. I'm like, oh.
A sound effect is like, oh yeah, that's the guy. Oh shit, it's coming for me now. The claws are out. Snicked.
Bam.
Another X-Men character though. Like not that many characters get their own special sound effects. It's like recognizable throughout pop. Like I remember watching Kevin Smith movies when I was a teenager, and they would always say like snicked, snicked. You know, I was like, I remember that from when I was a kid. That was what Wolverine did with his hands. Like yeah, that is definitely memorable.
Does Spider-Man's claws say, or Spider-Man's claws? Does Spider-Man's web shooters say thwip, or is that just me?
I know.
No, it's whip.
I also remember back in the day a lot of times it said fap. But like, they don't do that anymore for some reason. I don't know.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
You're right. I don't know.
All right, you guys. With the X-Men movies starting to kind of wind down in this current universe, our main man Hugh Jackman is winding down for his last roles, being X-Men Apocalypse, maybe cameos, and third X-Men Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'd like to ask each of you guys, who would you fan cast as Wolverine? Who is the next Wolverine?
You're looking at me, so I'm assuming you want me to answer.
Yes,
Oh.
that's how this works.
I
Jazz.
was gonna say Idris Elba because whenever anybody brings up anything like
Yeah, I
who
know,
next
it's like-
James Bond is or whatever, they'll be
Let's
like,
get the-
Idris Elba,
Yeah, yeah.
like because there's one black actor they know,
Yeah.
and it's so yeah, Idris Elba. No, Asa Butterfield. No, fuck Samuel L. Jackson,
There you go.
Perfect Wolverine.
Wesley Snipes.
Honestly.
John Travolta.
Ben Affleck.
I'm wearing my huge frowny face now.
It's not a bad choice, really.
Kevin Swayze.
It's pretty big.
Can I give a serious answer?
Yeah.
That was the serious answer.
Okay, all right. Misunderstood.
No, please, Jim, enlighten us.
Don't worry, it'll be Tom Hardy.
Wow,
He's in everything.
did you guess that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Close though, sort of.
I just watched Mad Max again.
The usurper to the throne. My answer is Mel Gibson. Would be a fucking awesome Wolverine if they ever let him work in Hollywood again.
And he is Australian.
And totally fucking crazy and like a drunk. So like that would be fucking awesome. And also certainly capable of growing sideburns. You know.
That is.
Old
That
Man
is-
Logan.
Wolverine can be grizzled.
After Old Man
Wolverine
Logan.
could totally be grizzled, man. I want more fucked up old men being superheroes in comic books. They're too beautiful right
Okay,
now.
here's what I'll say. I love old men heroes, and I like old men protagonists. I don't know why, but I always had an affinity towards them. So I'm down with the grizzly old Wolverine stats. I just think that Mel Gibson is like I'll snap like a toothpick old.
Okay, all right.
Not like-
legitimately.
Not like
old.
Liam Neeson, I'm gruff, but I'm still capable, kind of old.
Okay, all right. So you're saying it's like they can't make another Indiana Jones movie with Harrison Ford because like it would be like Indiana Jones and the secret of the hip replacement.
Yeah. That is exactly why. It'll just be something like that. Wolverine.
I think Mel Gibson's younger than Liam Neeson.
Yeah, but he
I'm
doesn't
sure.
look it.
I have to
the
look
problem.
at new pictures of Mel Gibson. I think that is Robert Downey Jr.'s levels of genius as far as like who you could cast. He's like Wolverine's personality to a T.
But maybe, as Brando said, maybe too late. You know, maybe.
I think it's a little too late. I mean,
Jeremy Clarkson
if you're worried about age, we might as well just keep you. Like,
up here. No.
Yeah, it was
That's
like
true.
Jeremy Clarkson Wolverine.
Yeah.
I don't know who that person is.
Keith Urban.
Oh, what was it? This guy that played Dredd, right?
Yeah, he does other
Yeah.
things, but yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so Stallone? Yeah.
His name was Carl, really.
Yeah, it is.
Carl. Keith Urban is a singer.
It's
Carl
a country
Urban.
singer.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Sorry.
No,
I was,
yeah, I could. Yeah, that's probably the best serious request.
That was my
Casting.
that was only suggestion. Carl Urban.
Personally, I think they'll stay away from the Wolverine for a bit, bring him in a bit later. It looks like they say they're rebooting the universe, but I don't actually think that's what's happening. I think they're just starting with a new generation again and starting with teenagers in the same universe. Like, I don't think they're bringing in Sophie Turner to play Jean Grey for one movie. I don't think they're going to end the current Fox Marvel universe. I just think they mean it's going to go in a tangential direction
That's why I
away
said-
from the past 3 movies, and that they're going to continue to feature the teenagers that are introduced in the next X-Men movie for some time to come. And I think that it would do well to give them a few movies to stand on their own, give Channing Tatum his Gambit movie, give Ryan Reynolds his Deadpool movie, let some other characters shine, and then bring in Wolverine when the X-Men are established on their own.
I think
Much in the
Wolverine-
way that the first X-Men movie did, or the way that,
I'll tell you what, when they choose to bring him back, since they're already working on the New Mutants, which I fucking love, and since in this new X-Men Apocalypse movie they have Olivia Munn as Psylocke, I am calling that Wolverine makes his next real big appearance when they recast him for an X-Force movie.
possibly.
But like, I agree with you, Mark. I feel like after this X3 film, and I don't believe he'll be making any appearance in the Apocalypse, that they'll just drop the idea of Wolverine for a while. Maybe you consider pawning him back to Marvel, but
I don't think so.
No way. Wolverine, he's like, he used to be the face of Marvel pretty much.
Personally, I think
I think they're with the creative decisions that they've announced.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not shying away from the possibility of building an X-Men universe without Wolverine, because they understand that they built this entire IP around not Wolverine, but Hugh Jackman Wolverine. You know, a symbiotic relationship, just like Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. So the world will live without it. You know, that's 8 Wolverine films, I believe. 3 of his own. 4 X-Men films, which he's been. So it's
and
7.
a cameo in another X-Men.
And a cameo in First Class, so it's like 7 films as Wolverine over the course of like 15 years. Like, I think he's done enough. I think that this generation and the next have already had enough fill of the character of Wolverine, of that interpretation of Wolverine on screen for a while. I don't think I've ever seen a character concurrently on like Hollywood that many times. Like, he's pretty much in a film every 2 to 3 years as Wolverine.
Yeah.
Over the last, 16 years. 15, 16 years-ish.
You want to know what who I think will be Wolverine after Wolverine 3?
Sure, yeah.
Hugh Jackman.
Old man Logan.
I think this is a bargaining tactic. I think that he realistically won't be doing solo movies after Wolverine 3 or X-Men movies where he's the main star, but I think that he will fall into a Robert Downey Jr. level of kind of, if they pay him a lot of money, he'll come on and do a cameo or do a supporting role or do some sort of future thing. I've even heard some people say that because he has the whole time traveler thing going on since Days of Future Past, that as he gets older, they're going to make him into this universe's Cable. Now, obviously, that's just fan speculation, but
Yeah, you know.
I tend to
That'd be
think
really cool.
I tend to think
Better than
Hugh
Cable.
Jackman's too tied to it.
The
He
Cable.
still looks good enough that they can keep him doing it for a couple of years, even if he can't be carrying a solo movie at his age. I think that he's gonna get into that class of venerated actors that gets paid to do, smaller roles.
I can dig that.
And I think in the meantime, they're going to try and beef up Channing Tatum's gambit as the center of their X-Men.
It's kind of interesting that you mentioned that he'll turn into a Cable-like character. Do you ever? I think there's an Ultimate comic or something where this guy Cable comes from the future into the past, and they reveal eventually, because he is fighting Logan, who is supposed to kill Professor X or some shit like that, that he's actually Wolverine from the future, that he lost a hand and his healing factor ran out or some shit like that. And he actually loses that hand in the fight. So he has one claw hand. So he's the new version of Cable.
Right.
But he's also Wolverine.
I could see them doing that. And that would especially play into, they introduced all these characters that have been traditionally part of the New Mutants and X-Force, like Warpath and Sunspot. And I think you throw that in Days of Future Past, and I think you throw them with a time-traveling Wolverine as their leader, and maybe time-traveling Bishop and dimension-hopping Blink, and you have your New Mutants movie, or your X-Force movie.
Just gotta bring in magic. Hey, Chang.
I don't follow actors.
Hey, Chang.
Yeah, me neither. I did my best.
Just say the one actor you know.
One actor I know.
I know you're gonna say it. I hope you say it.
Tom Cruise.
I have no idea.
Okay, Chang votes Bruce Willis.
Well, as we
Who would be a good pick?
yeah,
I want him to play every old superhero, though. I say that every single time, so I didn't say it this time. But
I just want to throw it out there that as we speak, I'm on comicbook.com, on my phone, and one of the fucking clickbait articles, but it says Wolverine 3 rumored to be based on Old Man Logan at the moment. Dude from the fucking Gonzalez dude from that goddamn Mexican website that spoils everything.
Latino
So-
Review.
Latino Review?
Thank you, Latino Review.
Yeah,
That
fucking
goddamn Mexican.
fucking Gonzalez guy.
I think he might actually just be psychic.
Yeah, I think he's just psychic and he's just making pagan sacrifices to see the future.
Yes. Yeah. For what? How much money do you think he gets to do that shit? It can't be a substantial
Yeah. Well, he
amount.
probably just sacrifices a few chickens and just, and all of a sudden he gets a little bit of clairvoyance, so.
A few chickens and a cow. Call it a night.
Yeah.
Well, we're all sitting here and we know who he is, so I bet he gets a shit ton of ad revenue.
Yeah, so.
We're off topic again. Dan, do you have another question for us?
No, I don't, because Eric,
Oh.
who would you cast as Wolverine?
I don't know.
Y'all
I
know.
don't really have a specific person to play Wolverine.
Jackie Chan, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. I believe it. Jackie Chan.
How old is Jackie Chan?
He's like 60.
Okay, Mel Gibson is allowed to be.
I don't know.
Who's Jackie Chan? Jackie Chan's been in movies since the 70s.
But he's
fuck
but-
that.
But Jackie Chan can do everything. What can Mel
Yeah.
Gibson do?
Fucking save the Outback from the Humongous, and also his friendship with the other cop in the Lethal Weapon movies, and various other things. I mean, and Free Scotland from Longshanks.
Jackie Chan has the Guinness World Record for the most stunts done by any actor.
I don't care about that. That's
Mel
not
Gibson
interesting to
is
me.
younger than Jackie Chan. Mel
Yeah.
Gibson's 59,
But he
Jackie
doesn't
Chan's
look it.
61.
That's the point. That
They could clean them up. They
that's
could
called
just-
clean him up.
And by the way, compare him to Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford's 72.
Damn, that nigga old.
whatever. Fuck
Yes.
actors.
Fuck
I'll
actors,
fucking
indeed.
Keanu Reeves. There you go. That's my choice.
Keanu
As the new fucking Wolverine.
Oh,
There you go.
He'd
Keanu
be
Reeves.
perfect. He
As-
would be
As teenage
perfect.
Wolverine. Keanu Reeves.
Whoa, guys. What I do is not very nice. I mean, what? Oh, I messed it up.
He's already time traveling in Bill and Ted. He's already got that shit going on. Alright, Dan, what else do you have?
Wolverine has had a host of awesome villains over the years.
Yeah, who's your pick? Sorry.
I don't have a pick. I
Oh.
have zero.
Wait. You just went around and
Forced, Lynch picked.
Yeah, and basically raped us into
Oh no!
since
It's
we're
very
being very
Wolverine,
rape heavy
yeah.
this
This guy's got
episode.
a super loose definition of it.
I know.
Hey, I said the vibe. I didn't say it was insinuate. You know what? Whatever. Dan.
And you must pick someone because you forced Chang and
I didn't force Chang. I just defaulted to the one guy he maybe
you
knows.
forced Chang.
You forced him against his
You
will.
raped me,
He
man.
did not want that.
So,
I said no.
so now
No
you
means no, Daniel.
So you tell us, Dan. Who is your Wolverine pick?
I want to go with someone young, someone who can go and buff up and maybe take on a more serious kind of looking thing. Let's go with a hip and popular looking guy. Let's go Joseph Gordon-Levitt Wolverine.
That's stupid as fuck.
Hey!
Dude,
That's a stupid.
he is shrimpy as all get out.
No!
Can you imagine
Buff him.
GGL getting fucking ripped though?
GGL is gonna be Sandman.
Guys, it's gonna be Tom Hardy. It's like, we argue
Yeah,
about this, but we all know it's gonna be fucking Tom Hardy.
Anyway,
Actually, straight up, I'm trying to remember his name right now, but
Nick Holt.
Gerard Butler.
No. He's like
He's like Hugh Jackman's age.
He's alternate
So
Hugh Jackman.
what?
That's like replacing Sean Connery with Roger Moore.
Like
Whatever.
Jim just brain.
People like dying. Like, it's a very extreme example. Like, whatever. We should cast Wolverine with Methuselah. You just whatever.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
this is Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson's going to be new Wolverine. He has a very specific set of skills. That includes smelling things and a healing factor and, metal knuckles.
I like that those are all superpowers when, like, my friend's sister has those superpowers. I mean, we can all smell things. We all the healing factor, and she had to get bits of her hand replaced with metal bits. So, Wolverine? I think so.
No doubt.
If you're listening, Lish. She's a married woman, I just clicked at her.
It's okay.
It's okay, because I know none of my friends listen to this when I post it on Facebook.
I'll be sure to link it heavily on that page.
Yeah, sure.
Wolverine has had a host of awesome villains over the years. Is there any particular villain that you think that he's, like, borderline married to? That villain, like, propels him into greatness every single time they appear on a page together.
Sabretooth.
He's the coolest fucking villain ever.
Sabretooth.
Mr. Victor Creed, why do you think that, Eric?
Dude, they pair so well together. They're like brothers. They love each other.
Like peanut butter and butter.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other.
Well,
I mean, you
Yeah,
could, but it
yeah.
wouldn't be as good.
Here we go.
here's my jumping in point, because Eric, thank you. You knew where I wanted to jump in. Sabretooth was originally intended to be an Iron Fist villain. Claremont and Byrne put him in their title Iron Fist, and he fought Iron Fist once and kind of beat Iron Fist up because Iron Fist was blind. Then Iron Fist got canceled like 2 issues later. And so they were like, wow, we really like this character, we wanted to use him again, it's a shame about Iron Fist. And so they put him in X-Men, and it would be as if, like, the Joker first appeared in, like, a Green Arrow comic or something, and then the Green Arrow comic got canceled, and so they were just like, fuck it, make him fight Batman. And then all of a sudden he's Batman's arch nemesis. You know, like, there's something about that. But yeah.
I mean, he does have an interesting pathos where, like, every year on Logan's birthday, he goes, he finds him, he goes, "Happy birthday, motherfucker!" And he, like, beats the shit out of Logan.
He has a lot of anniversaries to remember, doesn't he? He
I
has
know.
to go over and
He
shop
has to
up the
remember.
Japanese guy. He has to wait for Sabretooth to come and, like, murder his girlfriend in front of him or something. Like,
Wait for Gene to turn 18.
Now you're in the spirit, Jim. Now you're in the spirit. Now you understand.
he's got a very full calendar with the Avengers this day, the X-Men this day, the X-Force that
talked
day.
about that. There were points in time where, like, if you tried to connect the dots, like where Wolverine was, like in universe, he was just doing everything. Like he was on the moon and Genosha and New York, and it was like all the same day.
Dude, he's the only character I can think of that's been an Avenger, a Defender, a member of the Fantastic Four, an X-Man, on X-Force, and probably several other X-teams.
He was one of the 4 horsemen, if that counts as an
There
organization.
you
Sure.
go. Okay.
He was in Weapon X, he was in The guy's been in, like, more group meetings than most alcoholics.
He must have a really huge wallet.
No, he has like a packed, schedule keeper thing. What are they called again?
What, you think anyone
Yeah.
besides Tony Stark is paying him?
I mean, like, he's got a lot of cards for the clubs he's in.
Oh, I thought you meant, like,
Nah.
Yeah.
he was getting paid to be in them.
No, fuck no.
I mean, he might get, like, a teaching salary out of Xavier.
Yeah, he's probably got tenure at this point. They do that. I mean, I guess that institution gets destroyed every 2 minutes, but...
That would suck to have Wolverine with tenure because you could never fire him and he never dies.
Yeah, that's yeah. Holy shit.
You just see him like getting drunk. It's like, what are you gonna do about it? Gives like Xavier the middle finger.
No, Xavier just wipes his mind every so often so that he thinks he just started. Like, hi, I'm new here. Okay, Logan, yes, you are new here.
Don't mind him, he's just an old racist, you know.
That's actually what the last scene in Days of Future Past was about. What's the last thing you remember? It's just Xavier's been brainwashing him into working for free. No, your first paycheck comes out next Friday.
Constantly killing landlords. No, I don't have rent. Stop asking me.
Alright, so we got a Sabretooth.
Sabretooth. Sabretooth is like fucking interesting and weird because like as much as they, you know, comic book characters, they revise their history and stuff. Like I remember when I was a younger reader, Sabretooth was definitely supposed to be like, the question was like, is he Wolverine's dad or is he Wolverine's brother? Like how are they related? Like they kept that going for a really long time. It was like very mysterious because they were like it was implied that they were genetically related, like in the same family, you know, like they had the same fucking powers, you know what I mean, they looked the same. It wasn't just like, oh, Wolverine like tries not to be feral and tries to be civilized, whereas Sabretooth like embraces the whole feral thing, you know. Now doing a little bit of cursory Wikipedia research, I find that in the last like 15 years or so, it really changed that a lot. Apparently Victor Creed is not the Victor Creed of yore. I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys could fill me in a little bit about that.
My guess is that they're not genetically related. They're actually lovers.
Okay.
And his name's actually Gabertooth.
Gabriel.
Gabertooth, I like it. I don't know, he could be his father. He calls him Runt.
Yeah.
But they actually like clear that shit up though pretty. It's like Wolverine's original James Howlett.
So that
and then,
is that count now?
I think that counts now.
Okay.
I think that's the official thing that they're saying, that Wolverine is James Howlett and he has his brother, I guess.
Dog.
Yeah.
Yes, but I've heard that some people have combined Dog and Sabretooth into being the same people. It seems like
the movie
this
X-Men
branching-
Origins Wolverine did.
That was left ambiguously.
No, it wasn't.
No, in the series Origins.
Oh, yeah.
But Wolverine Origin, which are two different things.
Okay.
It gets
I'm
weird.
sorry.
It gets weird as shit. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. In Origin, you were kind of left guessing as to which one eventually grew into Sabretooth.
I'm confused. I was just saying in the movie X-Men Origins Wolverine,
Holy
they put
shit.
Sabretooth into
I
it.
apologize, my friend. I thought you were talking about a comic book series
No.
called Wolverine Origins.
No, I as far as I know, there's just that X-Men Origins, and then there's the movie where Sabretooth took Dog's place in the family tree.
Well, there you have it. Okay, alright. Well, eating my own words. Whatever. It still stands true to the comic books as well, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's spooky and weird and confusing.
And they have this like very, very strange rivalry throughout the ages, and I don't really fucking know what's the deal with that. I do like the fact that Wolverine does get his ass handed to him every year. That's just one of my fucking favorite things. The fact that he can get his ass kicked every year, you'd think that like he'd fucking know to like plan for this or anything. It's like, happy birthday to fuck!
Yeah! like how is he surprised by that? Well, I guess Xavier keeps wiping his mind. But like...
Why does he just like chum around with like Cyclops and like everyone else?
Superman marks down the days when when 99 days is up, and Mixapidlick is gonna come back. So like, why can't he just do that? I don't know.
Wolverine
Does he not own counters?
No.
Do his counters get shredded by his claws? Are they unwieldy?
No, you just keep forgetting.
Heal and revert to their original unmarked state.
Just keeps forgetting because he's too busy doing everything for every team.
He's just too busy.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, it's my birthday already. Fuck, turns around, Sabretooth goes.
How does he even
punches
know
him
when
in
his
the face.
birthday is?
He didn't for a long time.
Sabretooth, comes visit him. That's how he knows.
I bet Sabretooth just picked the day.
It's just the one day every month. This is a good day.
No, he was just Wikipediaing dates and was like, International Donut Day? Logan's birthday now.
Pick up my free donut. Kick Logan's ass. Best day of the year.
My favorite Wolverine, I won't call him an enemy, but opposing force is Quentin Quire, Kid Omega. He's just this punk kid who's got the outlook towards the X-Men that I do at this point, which is basically Magneto was right, and remember when Wolverine was cool? Me neither. Quire's kind of this jerk off that eventually becomes Phoenix, and he's a very powerful telepath, and he's just goes to Logan's school and just creates havoc, and is a little prick about it, and he's hilarious and way cooler than Wolverine.
Anybody else have a villain?
I don't know of any. But it's like a saber.
Yeah, I'm kind of tapped out on
Oh,
those.
no one wants to go
Maybe
Silver
the same-
Samurai.
Or Omega
I mean, it's
Red?
like- I was
Holy
like-
shit, I forgot about Soul.
No, I know.
Does he still exist?
I know about
Yeah,
him, but
No, he died and then his son took over.
Okay.
It's like either Samurai, Magneto obviously a big choice, but it's like, I guess other than that, the only person I see fighting Wolverine most of the time is just Cyclops.
Lady Deathstrike.
I think that's
Omega
right.
Red?
Oh shit.
I can't think
Dude.
of his name at all right
Technical
now.
rape of the character.
How about,
Oh wow.
I can't actually remember the last time I
He
saw
kind
Omega
of
Red in a
made
comic.
me think of Doc Ock a lot, actually.
Yeah, he always did seem like a budget Doc Ock.
Yeah.
I can think of villains, I just can't think of ones I enjoy. Like, I can think of Dawkins.
I can't. Yeah.
Viper.
Dawkins.
See,
Is that
I
Wolverine's
love
son?
Viper,
Yeah,
but as
it
a
is.
Nick Fury Captain America villain, I've never been like, ooh yeah, Viper's fighting Wolverine. Like those stories never make. Honestly, a lot of the Wolverine spy plots don't make sense to me.
Yeah, I know.
Who wants to get all deep and say that Wolverine is his own worst enemy? Because somebody has to say that at some point.
Yeah, but we just said that on
Let's be
Iron Man
serious.
last week.
It seems to be a
I could
common
apply to a lot of
feature,
characters.
Will.
Batman.
If somebody is alcoholic at one
Superman.
point in time,
Yeah.
they're the own worst enemy. Even though
Well, Wolverine can't get drunk, though.
He can't.
I was gonna say you can't
Back
get
in the day,
drunk,
he
but
he can get drunk. He just can't get
Sustain it.
On
Yeah.
in the Miller run, he went on a bender with the other chick.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like they were just drinking regular booze, and he was just like
He was having a good time.
No,
Yeah.
you've seen Drunk Wolverine has appeared on panel a number of times. He just, I
He
don't think
gets
he.
it.
Can, it's not Captain America who can't get drunk. It's more he can't stay drunk.
Okay.
He has to keep drinking.
That's what I think, yeah.
Probably just doesn't get hangovers.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
doesn't last through the night. Probably like tickles, like kind of like the Flash, like where he has to like it just kind of ends in
Yeah.
2 seconds. You know? So interesting.
Sabretooth.
Teenage girls are his ultimate weakness. His kryptonite.
Teenage girls.
Get some Oingo Boingo in here.
So, I think the spirit of the room is that consent is Wolverine's ultimate.
Thank you, Jim. Eloquent.
That and statutory laws.
Obviously, a number of you have seen the.
I bet he says age is just a number. A whole lot.
I mean, that is true.
And for him, the number is 157.
And denial is the river in Egypt. So, I think obviously a lot of you guys
Age is
have
forward.
seen the new universe of Marvel's like spoiler pick. Wolverine's still dead, or as in James Howlett Logan 616 Wolverine is dead now, as of this current point in time. What do you guys think of X-23 taking up the mantle and Old Man Logan being congealed into regular continuity?
I think it's cool that X-23 has stuck around as long as she has. Like, she was she originally from that cartoon?
No.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
she was like a teenage prostitute or something with Wolverine powers in her first appearance.
From that fucking weird, like, X-Men New York hipster
Yeah.
culture miniseries.
Yeah.
It was really good.
NYX or whatever.
Yeah, which was awesome, but like only ran for like 2 things and nobody bought it.
Yeah.
And then they grabbed her and put her in the cartoon, which I also never watched, but
who's popular there,
Does she have foot claws?
Yes.
I
She
thought-
and
also
only
has
2. So for like a grand
Two
total
per
of like,
extremity.
Does she
yeah.
have wrist? Does
No,
she have?
No, she
That's
has.
stocking.
She's just 2 per
That's stocking.
extremity.
She has 2 claws, and then she has a 3rd claw on her foot.
One foot?
Both feet.
They're like Bond knives out of her feet.
Rosa Klebb, kind of from Russia with Love.
Yeah.
She's
nice.
she's a pogo stick type character. She only has 1 foot and she hops on it.
Like Gazelle from Kingsman.
Yeah, it's just like that.
X-23 is a cool character. I haven't read a whole lot of comics with her in it, but I'm
Shitty
happy
name.
that she's still around. You know?
It is a really shitty name.
Now she's Wolverine. That's a better name.
It is a better name.
I mean, we could go with Laura Kinney. That's her real name.
I didn't even know she had one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does have a real name. She's a genetic clone of Wolverine. I don't know how she got Laura Kinney. That's weird.
Just a name. Just like Logan.
I always think that's really weird when they have like the female clones running around. I'm not entirely sure how that works because Ultimate Spider-Man has one of them too. Jessica Drew. Ultimate Jessica Drew is
No shit, I didn't know
is
that.
female Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Eric? What do you think?
Cloning
X-23,
is a difficult
new
thing.
Wolverine.
Even though we seem to be able to clone
Not a
the same
fan.
thing.
I mean, I don't really pay attention to that, so I don't know anything about, you know.
I mean, that's all we know about it.
Yeah, but I know nothing about, you know,
X-23. Or
anything about, you know, previous. All I know is just Old Man Logan and whoever Logan's been in.
How about you, Brando? Like X-23, you think is a good pick?
I'm
I
not
think
opposed.
Dokken could be better. Or Ultimate Wolverine.
Like I
No.
said, Dan, I'm not overly attached to the Wolverine character. I'm aware of these other characters. X-23 is somewhat of a charismatic girl when she's in the few stories that I've read her in, which is like scraping the bottom of my like memory banks. But I'm not opposed or against it. But most likely I won't be reading her book. No extended interest because I don't have any extended interest in Wolverine. So those are my standings, Dan.
How about you, Chang?
I've had a couple of issues where she was a part of like X-Force for a while there, and she always used to just like follow Wolverine around, like kind of like a puppy or shadow. Like she was always in his shadow basically. And they really did a lot of work with her trying to make her own character. Put her in like all new X-Men recently, where she has some dynamic, I guess, relationships with like the older X-Men. And I don't know how I feel about her being Wolverine. She like kind of finally got a little bit out of the shadow, only to put herself in the shadow.
I like her current. I don't know if it's still current, but it was current as the last I read. Relationship with Cyclops.
That's hilarious.
Because it's written by Bendis, and Bendis' standing has been opposite sex clones still fall in love with the same people. So that means that somewhere deep down, Wolverine and Cyclops are in love. And I think that's hilarious. Because Ultimate Spider-Woman is, like, still loves, like, Gwen and Mary Jane, like, because she's Peter. But I think that's funny.
That was pretty cool.
And he
That moment.
continually makes jokes about that. Like, he's just trolling the fans that are all like, who should get Jean, Scott or Logan? And he's like, neither Scott and Logan, except Logan's a girl.
Wait, so X-23 is in love with Jean Grey?
No, Cyclops.
Cyclops.
Yes.
Why would that have to do with cloning?
I'm just saying, because she's cloned him, and
Okay.
in the past, Bendis has written his clones fall for the same people that they're...
Okay, so you're saying that Logan was secretly attracted to Scott all... Okay, alright, gotcha.
Which is probably why we were wondering why he wanted everything in Scott's life so much earlier.
Yeah.
He actually just wanted Scott, and it was unreciprocated.
There you go. Well,
Yeah. I
Grand thesis of Wolverine. He's good.
He's gay rapist.
He
He's a rapist to hide
Alright.
his gay tendencies.
Yeah. The raping is just his
his
beard.
cover.
this is like the darkest podcast we've done.
He
like,
can't
ever.
let
This is
anyone
so
know that he
dark.
actually loves Scott. So he has Jubilee like in his bed.
Sounds about right.
Dude, I remember him giving Kitty Pryde a cigar. Like, you should not be plying underage girls with cigars, dude. She's 14.
also probably wouldn't care about a cigar.
What?
You also probably wouldn't care about a cigar. You know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna like seduce somebody with like, look, here's this smelly, like, fucking gross old man.
She like tried to smoke it and was all like hack hack cough cough
Okay,
cough. And
alright,
he's like,
gotcha.
I can smoke them because of my healing factor. And it's like, no, you can smoke them because you're a grown man, Wolverine. Like, she's a 14-year-old girl. This wasn't an anti-smoking lesson. This was you trying to be the cool guy and impress your high school girlfriend.
Did you guys know that he slept with Squirrel Girl?
Seriously?
Yes. I actually have a panel up over here. This is pretty funny. What does he say in this fucking thing? He goes, "What are you doing here?" And she goes, "Are you on the team? I thought we agreed never to see each other again." "Yes, I am on the team." And he's like, "I hope we can agree to be professional." "Of course. You do look good. You look amazing."
So,
I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. That they have like this weird thing.
I bet it was in a tree.
Hey, animals doing it on the wild, you know.
yeah.
That's the nature.
Most recently, he was with Storm before he died. Speaking of which, do you guys think 616 Wolverine is ever going to come back? Do you think it's an inevitability, or do you think that he's encased as a statue forever?
I don't think there's a 616 Wolverine anymore, but I think that there will be a new universe Logan.
So, like, Logan Wolverine will be back. It's just...
It'll be new, all different, all new.
I mean, I guess
All
technically,
new, all different, all new, all new.
Yeah.
technically, Old Man Logan is the Logan that's back
Okay.
right now, but
The new original Wolverine, like the
Yeah.
new original Wonder Woman. It'll be the new original Wolverine. Sometimes I hate
Really?
comics.
Sometimes.
So wait, did they do a thing where like Old Man Logan like time traveled back in time or something?
this all
No,
new,
with
all
the universe ending, like, it gets pieced back together with different parts, including
Okay.
From
parts
different universes.
So
the
wait, Old
future
Man
universe.
Logan is now just the canonical future, like Batman Beyond.
He's canonical present.
Okay, so
he got pulled over from his world onto the main world.
all right, so Logan Wolverine is present and accounted for in current
It doesn't look
continuity.
like he's going to be Wolverine.
Okay,
He's just going to be Old Man Logan walking around being a badass in a leather jacket.
so Bruce Wayne is in town, but he's not Batman.
Right.
Okay, all right, then I don't know how to answer the question. I don't know.
And Bruce Wayne's also 60.
Right, that's weird. It's comic books. It's only a matter of time before they reboot it back to like the status quo type thing. But I remember you guys speculating for a while that Marvel was sending bombs because they were like, fuck every character that we can't make movies about.
Yeah.
You guys are speculating about that, and I think Wolverine's probably pretty high on that list. I don't know.
Well, it's definitely.
Eh.
Definitely high on that list.
That makes me sad. I kind of want Wolverine to go over to Marvel side just so we can get like cool Captain America World War II Wolverine and Cap scenes or some shit like that. That would be
that'd be awesome.
so boss.
You know what? I'm glad he's not. I'm glad the X-Men aren't with the rest of the Marvel Universe. They don't have a lot of overt ties to them anyway. Like, there are very few that they, more than anything else, can be their own universe. And I get more Marvel movies per year because two companies are making them than I would if there
I'm
was
glad
just
too,
one.
yeah. It opens up the opportunities to see movies like Guardians of the Galaxy or,
Yeah.
Black Panther,
Right.
Doctor Strange.
They would never be making these if they had Wolverine and Spider-Man in the official Marvel stable.
Yeah, so.
I mean, even Spider-Man, Sony's making it. It's a
Yeah,
Sony
it's
movie.
a-
They've just come to a cooperative deal
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it's going to be.
They're going to co-own the property. Sony will be making the mainstay Sony, like, Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
But he gets to play in the Marvel Universe stuff still, which
Yeah.
is probably the ideal
Yeah.
relationship. So I'm glad they came to an amicable agreement.
All right, I think we got a lot of very nice Wolverine thoughts for the night. So, are there any final thoughts
lot of
about our main man,
nasty
James
thoughts.
Howlett? Any final thoughts on the character?
Lobo should
Lo-
have kicked his ass in DC versus Marvel.
He's retarded and he broke time.
He did do that.
He did break time.
He's definitely Marvel's Batman. Like, they were both like turned into edgy ninjas around the same time in like real time history, and I don't know, like, or like the money getter seller type dudes. I don't know.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Somebody had to say compare Batman to Wolverine at some point over the course of it. So here I am, I'm saying it. Final thought.
Boo.
They're also both named after animals. So,
This is true.
Additional strange question. Did you guys know what the fuck a Wolverine was, like,
No.
in recent times? Or did you, like, look up the animal?
In a
at any
vague
point?
sort of way.
It's like a horrible
Like,
badger
did I know
type-
that there was such, like, a small vicious mammal known as a Wolverine? Yes. Did I know what it looked like? I kind of pictured some sort of badgery thing.
I thought it was
That's
like
accurate.
amazing. I just always thought it was gonna be like this amazing, vicious like tiger that lived in the Canadian wilderness, like a big badass bobcat. But it's not. It's a fucking groundhog. Like, Wolverine is a cool sounding word. It sounds like a cool word, like it has W's
Coolverine.
and B's. Coolverine, right? But like, I don't know why they picked that animal and were like, we're going to make a badass guy based on this. It's like calling some guy like the Stoat or something like that. It's like, look, they have like the longest teeth incisors of any land mammal, but it's still like a yard pest. Like, that's dumb. So,
Alright, you guys, as we do at the end of each of our podcasts, we have recommendations for this week. Anybody have any recommendations for me?
I do.
Aw, shit. Mark, what you got?
So, I've got something that kind of surprised me from DCU.
DC me? DCU.
Yes. I was waiting for that. I knew we had to do it. It wouldn't be paper cuts if we didn't make that joke. I'm going to recommend Earth 2 Society number 1. Now, I got on Earth 2 back when it started, and it was really awesome. It was written by James Robinson, and he's pretty much the guy for that. He wrote JSA, The Golden Age. He wrote Starman, which was like the Golden Age character's legacy. He reinvented the JSA in the late 90s. And now he was redoing it again with Earth 2, and it was great for 16 issues. And then him and DC editorial got in a fight, and he split and made the Invaders for Marvel instead. And then they brought on this guy Tom Taylor, and the quality took a sharp downturn. And after Taylor left, they brought on a guy named Daniel Wilson to write during the period that was during the crossover event Earth 2 World's End, which in turn led into Convergence. And overall, I thought the whole World's End thing was really weak, and I thought that this series that started out really great had gone completely downhill. So I was not planning on picking up any Earth 2 after Convergence, but I picked up Earth 2 Society because I liked the preview, and it's an original comic, and I like that. And even though Wilson's earlier work on Earth 2 let me down, this is really cool. It's basically 12 ships got 12 million people or so off the population of off Earth 2 before it was destroyed by Darkseid and World's End. And then they're basically seeding this new virgin planet created by Green Lantern, the Convergence planet. They're building it they're trying to form a new society here. These superheroes are trying to form a society with only a couple million people out of the wreckage of these spaceships. And there's some forces at play. Green Lantern's lost his humanity. Dick Grayson's the new Batman. It's in a world where every comic is labeled as all new and all different and original and new. This is actually something new that we haven't seen. The idea of superheroes trying to build a society from the ground up, literally from virgin soil. And I think that's just so cool. I mean, the art is done by Jorge Jimenez, and it's very clear, very super heroic, and I'm just a big fan. I was really surprised. Maybe the later issues will let me down like the rest of Wilson's work did, but as far as starting issues, it really works well. It's one of the most interesting concepts in a DC book right now.
Strong recommendation. Yeah. I really dig that as somebody who enjoyed a lot of original Earth 2 until like the mid-20s. I'm kind of intrigued at this point. Anybody else have a recommendation? What's up, Jam?
Issue 1 of Martian Manhunter. No subtitles, no wacky like extra text. It's just called Martian Manhunter, which implies that it is an actual comic book series about the character Martian Manhunter. and that's what it is. It's really cool. They're giving him a fresh start. It's kind of a confusing comic. A whole lot happens really, really quickly because you're trying to set up a big, whole elaborate story and also possibly re-explain who the character is. He didn't have a whole lot going on during the New 52 era, which always kind of bummed me out a little bit because I'm on record, like, he's an awesome character, and I've been sitting around waiting forever for somebody to come along and write, like, the iconic Martian Manhunter series. Like, he's been sitting on the sidelines forever, and nobody's done, like, a Dark Knight Returns type story with him, you know, where it's like, oh shit, like somebody fucking, like Starman or something like that, you know? I don't know that that's what this is gonna be, but so far, it's fun. It's written by a dude who's very hard to Google because his name is Rob Williams. So you run into some trouble there, but he's got a bibliography out there, and I haven't actually heard of anything else that he's written, but so far he's doing a good job. I give it like 2 thumbs up, confusingly, because I don't know what's going to happen in issue 2, but so far 2 thumbs up.
Alright. I dig Martian Manhunter. It's nice to see that he gets some due love. Thank you, DCU.
DC, man.
DCU.
It doesn't say DCU anywhere in this, so for what that's worth.
I'm never gonna condone that.
It does have.
You don't have to condone our awesome catchphrase.
That doesn't count as a commercial for something else.
But it says DCU.
Yeah, but that's an ad. It also says, like, buy an Xbox game later on in the comic.
Anybody else have a recommendation?
I have 2. I will just try and be topical and suggest the Spider-Man versus Wolverine issue number 1, or is it Wolverine versus Spider-Man? I forget. By James Owsley. One of the better back issues I've read for this podcast specifically to refresh myself. And by read, I mean roughly skimmed, because I really only remember maybe 15 panels. But it was still a good time. There was something about KGB agents and a very odd note that Wolverine placed in the middle of 2 people having comatose for Spider-Man to find. And it was
It's
good.
very Cold War intrigue.
Yeah, it was very Cold War-y. It was a good time. I think I'll go back and read it more in depth. So that was my topical one. What I'm actually reading and actually paying attention to actually be Levitz's run on Legion of Superheroes.
They're gonna say Dr. Fate number 1 for it, right?
Nah, hell no. I'm talking about,
That was good.
talking about the Legion of Superheroes. We talked about them in a previous podcast, which may or may not have been released in this continuum.
Some other timeline.
Yeah,
it's
some
like,
other universe, multiverse, who knows? But it'll be out there eventually, and then you'll know what I'm referring to. It was good. I'm really enjoying it, especially after the previous run I read on, which was Millar's, and super Legion's fighting the Legion of villains, and it's exciting. And whenever there's an evil legion, usually a legionnaire dies, and I don't know. I'm having a good time. I'm almost done it. Definitely check it out. Good stuff. The art's beautiful. I can't pronounce the artist's last name. It's like Sinar and something else that sounds Middle Eastern, Sapphonia. I don't remember. I apologize, but check those both out. Purchase them.
Alright, very cool. Very cool, Brando. Personally, my recommendation for this week is Black Canary number 1 by Brendan Fletcher, and I forget everyone else's relevant name. Black Canary is a character who I've kind of been disenchanted with recently, only because of the Arrow television show. Although I do enjoy the character, so it's really nice for her to come back in something else other than a Gotham City Sirens or a Birds of Prey style thing, where she gets to do her own thing actually. She's no longer tied to the hip with Oliver Queen, which, while unfortunate in the comic setting, it's kind of refreshing that she gets to do her own fucking thing. So right now, she's rocking her fishnet stockings and leather jacket again, and she's in a fucking rock band. In fact, like, in one of the first panels of the comic, they even have like a mucous membrane poster, which is fucking awesome. If you want to see Dinah Laurel Lance, the Black Canary, kick some ass with some fucking cool artwork, issue 1 just came out. Give it a gander, give it a look-see. I think it was awesome. Anything else you want to say, guys?
Nope.
Alright. This is the end of the Paper Putts.
Paper Putts.
Paper Putts.
Paper Putts Golf Podcast. Tune in next week,
Pizza Hut,
folks.
Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut.
As always, be sure to like,
Wow, I
comment,
forgot.
and subscribe. If you have any other characters that you want us to like mercilessly tear apart or just talk about in passing, be sure to make a comment below. And as always, have
Or
a
if
good
you
day.
know of any other underage women who Wolverine has taken advantage of.
Please let us know.
Please let us know. We'll tell the proper authorities. We will alert them.
Basically, we'll tell Xavier to wipe his mind again.
I only have half a joke. It's not a full joke, but just the concept I need to get. Logan's Law.
Have a good life. We'll see you later.